This Golden Week celebration has been by far the most controversial Golden Week celebration of all time, but has it been the worst? Golden Week has been a main celebration for pretty much the entire game's lifespan, thus every year everyone anticipates it to be hyped, the units to be broken, loads of content, and tons of stones, but did this year deliver with that? First, let's look at the units we got for this celebration, which was Tech, Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken Goku, and Hit. This is a very anticipated release because everyone was hoping for Universe 6 and Universe 7 celebration to finally come, and me included. I was waiting for 3 years for these units to finally drop, and it's finally their time to drop. I was ecstatic, but there was a little bit of that hype robbed away when you looked at their kits. I, for one, do not think Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken is as bad as people say he is, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that he has flaws. However, let's look at Hit. He was pretty much universally liked. His performance is very dominant. He hits great numbers. He's dominant in festival battles. He's a very Golden Week caliber unit. But Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, it just seems to miss the mark a tad. And look, again, I do not think he doesn't have as many flaws as people says he does. I think he's still a very good unit. But as a Golden Week unit, are we going to count them as the caliber of some units like Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku and Int Buu, or Tech World Tournament Goku and Int Piccolo Jr.? You know, there's a lot of units we've gotten that have been really good, but is Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken worse than all the other ones? And I don't think so. Let's look at all the other, headlining units we've had, like Goku/Gohan and AGL Cell. That Goku/Gohan card was not good. I know the Gohan was really good on release, but you never even got to see the Gohan. Cell was at least pretty good, but when you're comparing It and Tech Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku over this two, I'm taking It Hit and Super Saiyan Blue Goku over those two because they're more dominant overall. And the biggest issue is this, is Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku really came out in the wrong meta. He's a unit that can't take on long content. It's not because of his kit that makes him do that, it's just because he's going to whittle down your HP too little, and you're not going to have enough HP to last for 16 turns in a row. But if you're talking about 4 to 6 turn content, he has his revive, he has his counterattack, and the HP loss is not going to be as detrimental in shorter fight content. If he was released during the Go Frieza meta, this man would absolutely demolish it. Just straight up tear it to pieces. But he didn't, and he's a 2025 unit and in a very long form meta, and he just doesn't feel at home like in Hit, who is meant for long content, who can handle, all kinds of content right now, minus dodge canceling fights turn 1 like Super Saiyan Blue Goku. But that Super Saiyan Blue Goku fight, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku can handle. So you have your balances here. Again, but if you were to rank the duos, all the headlining duos that we have gotten from all the way from beginning of 2017 all the way to 2024, I would take Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken and Hit as the 3rd best duo. I do have World Tournament Goku and Piccolo Jr. over them, and I do have Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku and Majin Buu over them. I wouldn't take anyone else over the Blue Kaioken and Hit. Now that we've looked at these two units, though, let's talk about the Part 2 LR, which, man, I gotta give the haters some credit here, man. I know there's a lot of people who do not love this Golden Week celebration, but right now, man, I cannot justify the Part 2 LR. A Carnival unit, which I called. I was like, yeah, this is probably gonna be a Carnival unit here. It makes sense, especially for a producer's letter. Why would you do a producer's letter for a Yellow Coin LR? The last time they did a producer's letter is when they revealed the first ever Yellow Coin LR for Golden Week, and that was Super 17. And it turns out every time they use a producer's letter to release a unit, they're not that great. So, for Golden Week decks, we got Carnival Tag, Kale, and Cauliflower. I don't think they deserve the Carnival Coin. I don't. I mean, yes, we've had units like Kaiku and Carnival Z Gohan, which I also don't think deserve Carnival units. And I think Tag, Kale, and Cauliflower definitely deserve it more than those two. But if you're going to do a Carnival unit, if you're going to do a unit that's Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is a Carnival unit, that's a unit that makes sense as a Carnival. If you're going to make Carnivals special, you can't just give it to everybody. That's why when Kale and Cauliflower came out, it just kind of tarnishes the value of the Carnival coin a little bit. If this is Kefla, or attack Kale and Cauliflower into Kefla, now you're giving the Carnival coin a very good rep, because that is super hyped for the Carnival coin. But to me, it just feels like you're kind of tarnishing the value of the coin a little bit when you're giving it to these two. And as soon as the trailer came out and you saw the green background, especially me, you can hear me on the live stream, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Kefla, oh my gosh, it's a tag unit, I was flipping out because it just seemed so perfect, it seemed to line up exactly how we all thought it would be, and they shot us down with no Kefla. Now, in retrospect, the Universe 6 team really does need these units to be separate just so they can get more units. You can kind of milk it out a little bit and have a Kefla and a Carnival Kale and Caulifla and this, right? Like, you really do want to kind of limit how much you can buy because you're losing options for the team since Universe 6 is already low on options in the first place. So in terms of that retrospect, it makes sense. But this is a yellow coin unit, okay? Like, this is not a unit that should be a Carnival. Literally, we have a yellow coin unit of this exact same LR, except they don't exchange. And that just shows you how highly they think of their new mechanic, but we're not going to act like DFE TURs are not about to get this tag unit mechanic. Like, I would be really surprised if they don't. If they're only saving this for Carnivals and LR Dokkan Fest units, that's fine too. That really shows how valuable they think of the tag mechanic. But I just don't think this unit was worth a Carnival coin. And to put this in even more retrospect, I value Kale and Caulifla as the 10th best LR in this game, which you could say, well, that's pretty good, but they're only 2 spots ahead of PyCon. They're only 1 spot ahead of GoTanks, and they're behind Go Frieza, for me. I know a lot of people probably won't agree with that, but the Goku side of Go Frieza is just better than both of those two combined. I mean, yes, you could probably argue Caulifla's better than the Frieza, that's fine, but Goku blows these other two out of the water, and you could do it turn 4. You have to wait till turn 6 to even exchange with Kale and Caulifla. And even then, you could argue that GoTanks is better than Kale and Caulifla, in my opinion. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to hate on them too much. I do think Kale and Caulifla is probably just a little bit better than GoTanks, but I don't think it's by much, honestly. It's even worse, though. And here's the thing that really sucks. One, they don't stack, which doesn't make sense. I think all tag units need to stack in some way or form. It doesn't make sense why this unit doesn't stack. This is the first tag unit that does't stack. Well, I don't know about Goten and Trunks. That's something I'm not 100% certain on. But Go Frieza stacks. They don't stack in both forms, but they stack. Of course, Vegito and Gogeta also both stack in both forms. This is the first tag unit that doesn't stack, and I know you could say, well, why does every tag unit need to stack? Because it makes the value of the tagging so much more different. I need to stack attack, so I'm going to go Caulifla. I need to stack defense, so I'm going to go Kale. It gives value to those units, because once you get to Kale, you're never going to use Caulifla again, unless you're going to proc the active, right? There's really almost no value in procking or going back into Caulifla unless you're in a non-dodge canceling phase and you know the first attack is going to be a super, then yes, you can go into Caulifla. But most of the time, you're going to stay in Kale, because Kale is so much better than Caulifla. So for a Part 2 LR, they didn't hit super hard, especially as the first Carnival LR. Now, you can look at all the other Part 2 LRs you've gotten for Golden Week, like Super 17, and the Goku and Gohan, and the Ultimate Gohan, and the Bulma, right? You have all of those guys, and yes, Kale and Caulifla is better than, 3 of them, but they're also Yellow Coin LRs. This is a Carnival unit. This unit should have blown every single one minus Bulma out of the water. And I say minus Bulma because there's no way in the world any Golden Week unit is going to be better than them, ever. And that's the case right now, right? I mean, that is true. Like, they did beat out everybody that existed, but man, it's not like they had competition in the first place. I mean, Ultimate Gohan was meh on release. Super 17 was awful. Goku and Gohan was decent, but it's not like they broke the meta, right? Bulma literally was the best unit in the game. And I think Kale and Caulifla, especially for Universe 6, needed to be a top 5 or top 6 unit. Actually, they needed to be as good as their Easy A counterpart, the Tech Kale and Caulifla, that actually go into Kefla and are 1,000 times better than this Carnival unit. It's just frustrating, because the Easy A, just TUR, Red Coin, Easy A, is better than a new Carnival unit. And it may not even be close. Like, this unit they're so good. They're high dodge chance, and I know we're in a dodge canceling meta, but they build their defense so quickly. I don't know, man. Like, when I'm looking at these units, like, side by side, 2.5 million defense start of turn is so much better right away than just Caulifla's 2.5 mil defense, 40% damage reduction after supering, right? It's just like, why are, and that's just for one turn of stacking for Kale and Caulifla. Like, why is there such a big gap between these two? I don't know. I don't understand it. So it just seems like every release this Golden Week has been kind of controversial, minus the Hit. I mean, everyone likes Hit, but of course, you know, there's the debate between Kid Goku and Hit, who's #1, but that's not really controversial. The controversial units are Blue Kaioken and Magetta, and then also the Carnival Kale and Caulifla. Just hype unit, but just didn't deliver across the board for everybody. Kale and Caulifla should have been Kefla, and Magetta, a unit that literally U6 needed to be good, is not that good. I mean, he can be okay with double Caulifla support, but by himself, he's not that good. Now, the good thing is, like I mentioned earlier, the EZAs have kind of hit for this celebration. You got the SCR God Goku and Hit, which sure is a solid unit, not crazy. You know, Truth doesn't have him in his top 15. Again, I'm just using this as a reference. I don't follow Truth for everything he says or whatever. Actually, I disagree with a lot of his stuff recently. But, you know, I think that's kind of a point, though, is they're not probably a top 15 unit. LR, sorry, not even top 15 unit, LR. But they're a good addition. I mean, them next to Hit, they're a very good unit. I mean, they're really not going to get you killed too often. But it does take a minute to get their active, and I think it's the one thing that hurts them. But overall, they're a very good duo. Tech Kefla is literally broken. I mean, I want to use them a little bit. I know they just EZA today, and I know I'm recording this before releases, so I know they didn't release today for you guys, but they released today, so I'm going to get some, you know, I want to try them out myself. But from the gameplay I've seen and what I've seen from people using private servers and stuff like that, they look really good. And I'm very happy that we got a very broken EZA for this celebration. And then we have Super EZA Blue Kaioken Goku, which, I mean, he's not the best Super EZA. He's probably top 5 Super EZA, but I mean, he works great with Blue Kaioken Goku, the tech one. But if you really don't run those two together, I would almost not even consider running this unit. But he's not bad. I mean, 90% damage reduction in slot 3 is great if you can get under that HP threshold, and his damage is very good too. But he definitely has flaws. If he does have his damage reduction, he's literally cooked. But let's compare this to the other years of EZAs we've had and kind of, you know, get a gauge. Where does 2025 sit with these EZAs? Well, 2024, you had Tech Ultimate Gohan, Tech Exchange Boo, Sub EZAs for Super Saiyan Trunks, the Int Super Saiyan Goten, Int Hercule, which all three are insane, and the FTR Boo, who I ran as soon as he came out, a very good unit, and then Super EZA Kid Buu, which on release I probably would say is better than Blue Kaioken. Not like actually now, but I'm talking about like the impact in the meta. I think I would say Kid Buu is probably better on release than the Blue Kaioken EZA we just got. Super EZA. 2023. Very underwhelming year. A lot of people praise this Golden Week year, and looking back at it, I literally don't know why. Outside of the unit selections, where were all slam dunks, the content is not there at all. They had one EZA, Fizz Piccolo. That's it. That's all the EZA for that Golden Week. One EZA. I think 2025 did better than that. 2022, STR Ultimate Gohan and Fizz LR Fizz Cell. Decent, I guess. I mean, they're not. I don't think they're better than the EZAs I got from 2025. I mean, I think Tech Kefla alone blows those two away. 2021, you can make an argument for you. 2021, there was an EZA for Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the STR one, and the EZA for AGL Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. That's pretty solid. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty solid lineup. I mean, after looking back at it, 2021 actually was a pretty shockingly good Golden Week celebration. Of course, I know Super 17 sucked, right? But these headliners and the EZAs, you know, pretty solid. I mean, you can't complain. I mean, overall, I probably still have 2025 over it, but I mean, 2021 is definitely going to be up there for sure. Probably top 4 Golden Week, right? Probably right behind 2025. Still haven't gone through everything yet. Let's continue looking through here. Content-wise, there just was not a lot of major content. I think it's the biggest thing that hurt people. I think the thing that hurts the most, though, is the fact that look at 2024's Golden Week and look at 2025 Golden Week. And I think it's a lot of reason why people are let down about this year's Golden Week celebration. It's because 2024 was probably the best Golden Week celebration of all time. Actually, not even probably. It is the best Golden Week celebration of all time, and it's not even close. It gaps every other Golden Week celebration we've ever had, and 2025 had to match that or be better. It just wasn't realistic, and I get it, right? Well, why not? I think the biggest issue now is the fact that the global Dokkan campaign literally comes a month after this, and I think Golden Week's never going to be the same again because of that. They're always going to be looking forward. They're always going to be like, there's a big celebration coming in 1 month. Why are we going to give you 700 stones for Golden Week, some of the most crazy units ever, some insane Easy A's, 1 month before we give you insane units, insane amount of stones, and insane Easy A's? I think with the shift of content, Golden Week is never going to be the same again. And I think that sucks. It really does, because Golden Week used to be so hype and so amazing. But now let's look at, what was the content for 2025's Golden Week celebration. And I think the biggest thing to consider is this. We got nothing hard. Like, literally nothing difficult, unless you want to count the Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta missions, which I'm fine with counting. I really am. Those missions are considered something pretty difficult. I mean, the Universe 6 mission is not easy without items, right? And that's one way to enjoy the game is play no item. I think that's the best way to get the most enjoyment out of these missions because it actually presents a challenge to yourself. Of course, if you're not super experienced enough to do it, then don't. I don't want you like deleting the game because you're doing no item runs for no reason when you can just clear it with an item. But for me, it extends the content a little bit more when you try to do no item runs. But we got those missions, again, like I just mentioned. We got Battlefield, Baton Battle, extra missions, Seriously Serious event and missions, Extreme Super Battle Road, Infinite Dragon Ball History, World Tournament, Legendary Frieza event and missions, 2 Easy A's, a Super Easy A, Burst Mode, Super Weekend missions, and of course, Dokkan Day. I know, before we all get up in arms and start commenting, I know Dokkan Day is not technically exclusive to Golden Week, but it was a part of it, and we have to count it. And literally because you could get free tickets to summon on Golden Week banners, it's going to be really hard to not include something like that into the whole discussion of what Golden Week was. Now, I am pretty happy with how they attack content a little bit. I know a lot of people wouldn't be pretty happy with this, but I only say that because they attacked in such a way that Anniversary didn't. Anniversary gave us a ton of hard content, new content, and that's good. But at least this didn't forget the other content, and I'm making a video about that later this week about what happened to all the other content. There's a lot of things, like, again, this is our first Infinite Dragon Ball History in a little bit. Maybe it's a little more recent than I remember, but this is our first Legendary Frieza event mission in literally forever. They don't really give out SBR, ESBR, Infinite Dragon Ball History, and Dokkan Battle Boss Rush stages anymore. They really try to limit how much they give those out, and I get it, it's a lot of stones, but it's just like, these are things that were created for variety of content, and they're just not being touched anymore. Why? Why would you not touch these things? The point of adding more content isn't to delete the previous content, it's to have it on top of the old content. So, anyways, I'm kind of glad they attacked some of the older content for Golden Week and starting to bring some of that back. There's no guarantee that it's ever going to come back just from one celebration, but I do like that they're still kind of updating it, but it needs to be a lot more consistent. Now let's do a quick stone count, because everyone's like, oh, but there still wasn't that many stones, and it just felt very dry, and I get it. Like, it does still feel dry, even after what I'm about to say, and I'm going to let you know why in a second, but it's just, it does feel like there is a little bit lacking here. But let's look at the stones. We got 7 stones from the Goku Day missions, 30 stones from the Goku Day gift, 61 stones from the Goku Day login bonus, 32 stones from the Super Weekend missions, 3 stones from extra missions, 74 stones from Super Easy A's and Easy A's, 24 stones from Infinite Dragon Ball History, 20 stones from Red Zone missions, 15 stones from Legendary Frieza event missions, 30 plus stones, I don't remember the exact number for World Tournament, but those are the World Tournament stones, 10 stones from Seriously Serious event and its missions, 4 stones from the Dokkan events, you gotta count those, the 9 stones from Burst Mode, 31 stones from Battlefield, 8 stones from ESBR, and then 62 stones from Login. Total that up, that is 412 stones, 413 stones. That's still pretty good. I don't have a number to compare to all the other celebrations, so I apologize for that. But 413 stones is still a ton of stones. And again, don't get me wrong, this is not going to come close to what happened during 2024. And again, like I said, it does seem like a very good reason with a global Dokkan campaign coming up. It doesn't mean that they're excused for it being lackluster all the way through, but I can see why they're doing it. And again, we do have to consider the fact that we got free pulls on the Goku and Hit banner, and we got free pulls on the Carnival Kale and Cauliflower banner. I mean, 35 tickets to spare. I mean, that's 35 summons, and a lot of people did pull the Carnival unit, and some people probably pulled Blue Kaioken and Hit from these special tickets. We can't rule them out. We can't just throw them away and say, well, you know, it is what it is. Like, it's cool, but whatever. Like, no, I mean, it's free pulls. Free pulls are free pulls. But overall, is this the worst Golden Week celebration of all time? No. It's going to be really hard to make this the worst Golden Week celebration of all time when how many stones we got, free pulls. I mean, literally, people got the new unit. You have to consider something like that. Getting a new unit for free is going to be really hard to make this the worst of all time. You spent 0 stones, you get the unit. That's still a pretty good celebration. There was a lot of content, maybe not a lot of interesting content, but there was a decent amount of content. But I think the biggest thing that saves this is the fact that we've got at least one unit that is very, you know, worthy of a Golden Week celebration, and he's going to be probably remembered as one of the most dominant Golden Week celebration units of all time. You also got the fact that we have one of the most dominant Golden Week EZAs of all time with a Tech Kefla. And then the Carnival unit isn't great, but it's the second best Part 2 LR that Golden Week's ever had. So overall, it actually has good stuff to come with it, but there is not room to complain. That's a weird sentence, I apologize there, but there's definitely room to complain about the celebration, especially what we saw from 2024. If I were to rank the top 3 celebrations for Golden Week, I'd probably go 2024, 2023, and then 2025. I think 2023 is way more dry than 2025. You don't get the free unit. But the fact that they slam dunked all 3 unit selections and the side banner units has to be considered, because at the end of the day, who cares about everything else if the units suck? And I know 2025 units all don't suck, but at least they gave some of the most dominant units and impactful units in Dokkan history in 2023. 2025, these units are not as nearly as impactful as Bulma and Piccolo Jr. and what Tech World Tournament Goku did on release. You know, those units are pretty impactful. So there you go, guys. That's just kind of my opinion, I think, of a Golden Week celebration this year. I definitely get the complaints. I definitely do. But at the same time, we got to stop overreacting a little bit here. This is a great celebration overall. I mean, it's definitely a step back from the previous 2. But overall, it's still a really good Golden Week celebration. Again, I hope they continue to make better units in the future, less controversial. Just let us have fun. Let us all agree across the board. Good unit, have fun. That's what we want. And let's hope Global Dokkan Campaign delivers. If you guys enjoyed this video and you're like, wow, he's speaking, wow, that's crazy. This is the first time he's ever done that. Not true. I have 3 other videos down below in my playlist that you can click and watch my other voiced videos. Shout out to my editors. I have to shout them out, man. They're incredible people putting together some amazing content for you guys, and I would not be able to do this kind of stuff without them. I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.